NottsRockCast is an association with Regular Riot. Welcome to NottsRockCast, the Notts Alternative Scene podcast. And here is your host, Jethro D, bringing you everything Notts and rock.
And welcome back for another episode of NottsRockCast NRC-053 over YouTube. And this week is an absolute blinder because this guy got in contact, said, I'm doing my own solo stuff. I listen to the podcast whilst I'm driving my truck and I want to get on the show. So he did. So we'll check that out, but don't forget, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. I have to say it because people forget.
Right, welcome today. We're in the Cromwell Snug. I'm with Justin, is it Larner?
Larner, yeah.
Larner. He got in contact, said he wanted to come on the podcast, and I kind of know nothing about you. So would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us what you do?
Okay, I'm Justin Larner. I got in contact because I've got an album coming out, which is my first album which I've done under just my name.
Yeah.
As a guitar instrumental album. Because I've been playing guitar since I was 13, and I'm like 32 now.
Yeah.
And even though I've been in bands the whole time, and I've always been writing instrumental guitar music on the side, but I've never put it out, and it's just one of those things where I've always had it in my head, I need to release a solo album, guitar music, because that's the music that I like, and the circumstances have come to be now that now is the time that I've done it, so and I need...
So have you played all the instruments yourself?
Apart from the drums, I've got a drummer in.
Oh right, it's live drums then, it's not a drum machine.
Yeah, it's real drums. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do properly. Yeah, I went into a studio, did everything as best I could do it.
Yeah.
So on drums, we've got Gaz, who used to be in Witch Trooper.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah, he's just recently left.
Yeah, but I used to play in a band called Grand Ultra. I don't know if anyone's heard of us. We were right for a bit. We played at Bloodstock 2011, and we had 2 albums come out.
And the band now is...
It's done, yeah.
Yeah, it's done.
Gaz was the drummer for that.
Right.
And then when that finished, that's when he joined Witch Trooper.
Oh,
so
right.
Well, it doesn't matter what band he's in. To me, he's my drummer.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably always going to play drums for me.
Cool.
But I did everything else. Apart from the production, actual studio side of it. So I've got a producer and I've got a drummer, but everything else...
So you went into a studio to record it then?
Yeah.
Which studio was it?
It's 7HZ it's in Burton, a guy called Tristan.
Yes, heard of him, because I believe
he did the
Down in One.
Yeah, but he did the Down in One album because he did the Grand Ultra album, and I recommended him to Down in One, so
cool.
It's kind of my fault that Down in One used him.
Okay.
He's
I wouldn't say fault. From what I've heard so far of...
Have you heard the album?
I haven't heard it fully the way through. I need to buy it off them soon.
Yeah.
But the song that I've played on the podcast, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought it was a really good production.
I've heard the album. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. So.
I really like Down in One. Really nice bunch of lads.
Yeah.
So... Okay, are you singing on the album, or is it an instrumental?
I can't sing. When I first, I can sing, but I'm not a singer. I can sing in key, but I wouldn't consider myself a singer.
Yeah.
So I don't do it because I know it's not the best singing voice. But so this album, it's basically a backlog of. I was clearing out the backlog of tracks because 6 of these tracks are over 10 years old.
Okay.
And then there's 2 newish ones, and then I'm already looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Even though this one's not even out yet. But so there's no vocals on this one. This is just pure guitar music that I made from a while ago.
Yeah.
The next stuff, I am going to get vocalists in.
Yeah.
Because I've got songs which are intended for vocals, and I've got a couple of people agreed to it already, and I'll be looking for more people. So if anyone listening is a singer locally in a hard rock kind of band who wants to feature on more music or work together on something, then that's something I'm open to. Because vocalists are what I need.
Yeah, they're
good. As long as I like the vocalist and I like what they do, I'm happy to have them on.
I think a lot of musicians nowadays are far and few between. It's about finding the right fit for you,
I've
isn't
actually
it?
got Gone from Down in One. He's agreed to do a track for me for.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. I've got, I don't know if you've heard 28 Double from Derby.
No.
No, there's the singer from
Sorry.
from them, Nick Ward. He's agreed to do some. But yeah, I need more singers really.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a call out for anyone if there's anyone out there.
Well, yeah, definitely get in touch. I'll put. Have you got a link or something I can put in the show notes? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I've got.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm sure you've put it in the email. To be honest, you've been very efficient with sending what I needed. So.
Well, yeah, you send out a list and I read it. So.
What do you know? What it's confusing. I've sent out hundreds of emails over the past week, and people just don't read anything anymore. And I harp on about this a lot to people. That I think it's the invention of the computer that has stopped people from reading, because when an error message pops up, people seem to clear it away because it's in the way of what they want to do. They don't read the error message. Exactly. And I think that's come into modern life of people just don't digest the information because they think it's not relevant.
I think it's very relevant. Coming onto your podcast, you lay down the rules. I want to know what they are. I want it to be successful. So.
I just want to basically make sure you know what you're getting into at the end of the day. So, okay, have you got a quote of inspiration that you usually tell people?
I wouldn't say so, but pretty much just you've got to do what makes you happy. Just do what you want. Yeah. Don't let anyone stop you from doing it.
Cool.
I'd say that in for anyone's life, doing whatever they want. You can't really get any more inspirational than that.
There you go.
Well, the problem with that is you've got to know what makes you happy in the first place. You need to know what you like, which is it's not as easy as it seems.
No, it's definitely not. Are you originally from Notts yourself?
I was born in Leicester, but from the age of 1 I lived in Long Eaton, which technically is in Derbyshire. It's in Erewash, but it's got a Nottingham postcode and a Nottingham phone number. Yeah. So I've always, even though technically I'm in Derby, it was like, well, it was up to 10 years ago. It's like bang in the middle of Nottingham and Derby. I've always considered myself Nottingham. Yeah. And I say the main reason for that was the places like the Sal and the Tap and the places you can go to which play my type of music. Yeah. And also Derby didn't have a late bus. So if you ever went out on a night out in Derby, you had to come back by like 10, 11 o'clock. Whereas in Nottingham, they had the one that was running until 3 o'clock in the morning. So.
Oh, that's cool.
I know it's 24 hours with the Skylink. Yeah. So it's even later, but yeah, I've always considered myself more Nottingham than Derby. And then for the last 11 years, I've been living in the Meadows. So yeah, pretty much very much Nottingham. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So what's your profession outside of music then?
Well, up until the last 4 months, I worked in the warehouse for Boots in Beeston. Oh, right. But I needed more money. So for the last 4 months, I went in, I sorted out HGV licences.
Yes, you said you were a driver.
HGV driver, working silly hours in the morning.
Bloody hell.
But the money's good, and the reason why I need the money is because music is very expensive. Yes. Anyone who's in a band already knows recording albums is not cheap. And to do it on my own, to put it out on my own name, basically means I don't have anyone to split that cost with. So it's not like split it between 4 or 5 people in a band like most people do. I've got to pay for everything now, and it's not cheap. No. So that's what all this extra. Well, so my HGV driver to pay for the music.
Yeah, it's you've got to be in it for the passion, haven't you?
Yeah. I think it's a long. Well, people have been saying it ever since I was young, and you've got to be in it because you love it. Because if you're in it for the money, you're not going to make any. You're in it for the wrong reasons. So. Yeah,
I completely agree. It's something that I always keep telling people, like. Some people think they can get by on not doing very much, but like you said, you needed more money, went out and found the job that provides you more. Yeah. And Yeah, it definitely is a credit to yourself to be doing that, to be honest. So, what size lorries do you drive?
I've got the Class 1 for basically the big stuff.
Yeah, is that Arctic Class 1?
Yeah, but at the moment I'm only driving the Class 2 stuff, but I will be moving on to the Class 1.
Yeah. And who's that for?
DHL.
Oh, DHL.
Still within Boots, so I'm going to store deliveries at the minute.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So, whereabouts in the country do you end up then?
Or all of the East Midlands.
Oh, all of the East Midlands.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So go up probably like Barnsley, Sheffield, and then down south probably like Northampton, Corby, Kettering.
Yeah.
All over.
Wow. I don't drive myself.
It's not easy. I mean,
my dad used to do
I thought it would be easier than it was, but it is. But I'm hoping I'll get better as it goes on. But it is hard.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they get paid. The amount of responsibility you have to not destroy things, because you're driving like 15 tons of metal around.
Yeah.
You can quite easily do a lot of damage.
Well, yeah.
So
what sort of music do you listen to in the cab then?
It's mostly hard rock and metal music, just music that I like. So. But that's one of the best things about doing the driving, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. So you can drive around just listening to music all day, which is like
and getting your inspiration together,
perfect.
I guess.
Because music is like the best thing in life. I think a lot of people would agree.
I completely agree. My whole life is music through and through, and it always has been. It's always been part of my life, and even extending into doing this podcast. It's like I'm doing it because I love the music, I love the scene, I love the city, and it keeps me very much in it.
I think the music scene needs people to promote it, and I think what you do is just as valid, or almost as the music itself, because you can't really have one without the other.
No, you certainly can't. You can't.
I don't know if that's really appreciated enough.
Yeah, well,
music doesn't get promoted on its own.
Well,
there's only so much you can do, and
it's something that was talked about in the live podcast. Is like when you set up a gig, there's so many avenues of promotion that have to go on. The promoter has to promote it, the band has to promote it, and then the friends, family, and if you don't get the full lot of the support, it's definitely why I'm running this podcast, is to promote as much as I can. I did decide this year, though, that I wasn't going to carry on doing the gig guide, and there's only one reason for that, and it's I can now put podcasts together in advance.
Yeah.
And as I said, I've sent out a lot of emails this week, and hopefully I should be having a lot of guests, but I might have to record a load in a week.
Yeah.
And then obviously I've got like a month's outline. So trying to do the gig guide at the same time for each week is a bit difficult. And to be honest, I never get the names of the bands right that I'm trying to read.
Yeah.
So, okay. What compelled you to be into the alternative scene?
It's the music. It's all down to the music.
Yeah.
And it's probably from when I was... my earliest musical memory of the earliest person that I liked was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
When I think I was about 5, 6 or 7 or something like that. And I think the songs that I liked the most of his were probably Beat It and Dirty Diana, which were quite rock.
Yeah.
The more rock side of what he was doing. But then hearing bands like Marilyn Manson and Metallica and Limp Bizkit, because that was the time when they were coming out.
Yeah.
I just heard that music, and that's what I enjoyed listening to. So, and then when you find places that play that type of music, you just then become part of the scene without even knowing it. I don't think you're involved in it. It draws you in.
I suppose it does, really, doesn't it?
And I'd say when I first came to Nottingham, I don't know if I was probably just old enough or not quite old enough. I came into... Well, we didn't know where we were going, me and a friend who was out. And we walked past the tap and we heard AC/DC playing quite loud, and I thought, we both thought, well, this is probably somewhere we should be because they're playing AC/DC, so we went in there and then that was it.
Yeah.
So we weren't even looking for it, we just kind of walked past it and thought, and then we kept going in there ever since. And that was when we was 18, so...
Cool.
That was like 14 years ago.
It's nice when you can hear... That's something I've never really thought about. It's nice when you can hear the music of a place from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, they could have been playing anything at that time. It just happened to be playing a song that we liked as we were walking past looking for somewhere to go, so...
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So, with recording your album, what hurdles have you personally faced and how did you overcome them?
I would say that being in bands what I found was to be the hurdle before this, because what I've come to realise is you can't rely on any other people. I think when you're in a band, the more people that are in the band, the more people you've got to rely on to pull their weight and do what they...
Yeah.
And being in a band, it's not a full-time job, so it's usually what people do on the side, or so people's levels of passion and engagement for it all have to be the same. So and I want to do it, so I feel like I was kind of being held back a bit by other members.
Oh right, fair enough.
So now that that's over, I think, well, what's the most efficient way I can do this on my own? And it's to do it under my own name and get musicians in as and when I need them. So what I've done, or what I'm trying to do going forward, is use the kind of Slash, Yngwie Malmsteen, Jeff Beck kind of model. Yeah. Which is, it's you, or me, and then other musicians do what I need them to do when I need them to do it.
Yeah. That's very interesting, if I'm to be honest. It's coming from doing solo projects myself, and at the moment I've got quite a few songs that I'm trying to finalise. Yeah. And I've only been doing them myself because I can't find anyone else with the same vision. Like, I'm very much, as you can tell, I'm into 9 Inch Nails quite a lot, and it's kind of, my music's kind of like that, and it takes...
Are you a vocalist? What
I'm not a vocalist.
Do you just program, or do you play?
No, I program. I play guitar. I can play bass. I can do keys. I just drums, not so much. I haven't really got as much rhythm as I'd like.
You can write music.
Yeah, but I write music and I write lyrics, and I'm, to be honest, like I said.
So you need a singer?
Not really at the moment. I'm trying to keep it more. No, I'm trying to keep mine less vocals. I'm not. It's more, I've got an idea of where I want it to go.
So you could an instrumental album?
Yeah, so it's going to be an instrument. I'm going to do, it's going to be, it's hard to see, that's why I'm trying to relate to what you're saying, is it's hard to get what's up in my head on the same level as someone else. So I completely understand that working in a band isn't right for some music, whereas some people really get off with working in a band.
Yeah, if you've got the right people, but finding the right people is extremely hard. I mean, that's why me and Gaz work together so well. And that's why I always see him as my drummer, because I don't need to tell him what to play ever. He never plays anything that I'm not happy with that goes with what I'm playing on the guitar. Yeah. So quite lucky to find someone in that respect.
Cool. Right, let's take a break for 5 minutes, and then we'll get back for the second round, which is Knots and Rock.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So far, I'll check it out, and I listened to a couple of episodes before.
Because I tried listening to the Satriani podcast, couldn't get on with that.
Who's that?
A couple of lads from up north doing kind of rock, and couldn't really get on with it. Right, we're back in the second round with Knots and Rock, and here I am with Justin Larner, who is in the process of releasing his solo album.
Yes, I'll keep it. Well, I haven't got an official release date for it yet.
Have you got a name for it though?
Yeah, it's called A Taste for Space.
A taste for space.
Yeah.
Cool. Because we were talking in the break about guitarists and instrumental music, and I think we've both agreed that only really guitarists know of the people, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a very niche market. It's hard to, and it seems to be guitar music for guitar players. I don't know many people who don't play guitar who listen to guitar music.
Yeah. Have you? I think it's Steve Vai. He's got the Harmony Hut studio.
I'm not sure about that.
I've been looking. I watched YouTube videos and watched the whole studio tours and stuff like that, and I find it really fascinating. But he's got his own dedicated studio now, and it's absolutely beautiful. And some of the stuff he's got in there is amazing. So I believe his desk is a one-of-a-kind, custom-made for him. But when you've got that sort of money, it's like, you might as well.
Steve Vai's like, he's top man, he's top guitar player. He's one of the best in the world. So.
Right. What do you love and enjoy about living in Notts, geographically, not so much the alternative scene?
When you say geographically,
as in, what do you love about the city? And
part of the reason why I like it is it's not because it's because of the location of where it is in the country. It's right in the middle.
Yeah.
So pretty much within like a 2-hour driving radius, you can get to the majority of England. So playing in bands, it's not too much of an effort to drive to play a gig in Sheffield, or to play a gig in Birmingham, or to play a gig in Leicester, like an hour away. Like, you can get everywhere right next to the M1.
Yeah.
So it's quite convenient in that sense. So it's almost like not because of Nottingham, but just because of where it is in the country. But I don't think I could see myself moving or living anywhere else. There's nothing that Nottingham doesn't have, which I think I wish Nottingham had that. Like, it's got everything, as far as I'm concerned.
I completely agree on that. It's self-sufficient little city, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
it's big enough that it's got everything there, but it's not too big that it's overcrowded. It's not. It's nowhere like London.
No.
Whereas I know people who live in London, and I've been to London, and I think that's a joke of a place to live. I couldn't ever see myself living there. I don't even like going there.
I don't even know why people really want to go there. I suppose the money's great on some jobs, but then you have to.
How much you're paying out to live there?
Yeah. I used to live in Henley-on-Thames, and a one-bedroom. Well, it wasn't even a one-bedroom flat. It was kind of like a studio apartment with a small room for a double bed to go in.
Yeah.
It was £750 a month.
You can't live like that, I don't
think. For such a small space.
Yeah. So I think we've got kind of the best of all worlds in that, really.
Right, do you know any stories or myths about Nottingham, or something locally interesting? I bet you looked at this question.
Yeah, I'm not really a historian, but I know. I don't know. I can't really answer that question.
No,
not any better than if you just did your own Google research. So yeah.
I do like to ask that, because some people come out with some. Obviously, there's going to be stories that people don't know from some people, so I do like to keep that one in.
Yeah, I know it's worth asking, but I just haven't got an answer for it. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. A person gets off a train or bus, then checks into the hotel, goes into the bar you're in and asks, "I've never been to Notts or Nottinghamshire before. Where is the one place you recommend I check out before I leave?"
The Pit and Pendulum.
The Pit and Pendulum?
Yeah, only because it's just a very interesting place. I've not been to anywhere like that before. That's kind of like that kind of dark gothic thing that's got like a toilet behind a bookcase.
Yeah.
So I think that's somewhere that nowhere else has. So it's worth seeing, I think.
And I think that's a great suggestion, because no matter who the person is, even though they're more than likely going to be into the alternative scene, considering it says at the bar you're at, unless I won't assume which bars you go into, but the Pit is very welcoming to like everyone, I think. Yeah,
it's not necessarily just an alternative place, even though it plays alternative music. I think it's just interesting, like, to look at.
Yeah.
So
With
I think anyone
with the
can
vaults
appreciate
downstairs
I think
as well.
anyone can appreciate it no matter what kind of thing you're into.
I don't know what that building originally was though.
I don't know, some sort of sex dungeon maybe.
Probably.
Looks like it could have been.
Right. What is your most treasured musical object? And it doesn't have to be an instrument.
I don't know, I think it would have to be an instrument for me because
Fair
that's what
enough.
I play. So I've got one guitar which my dad bought me when I was first starting out, but I've changed every bit on it apart from the body itself. So I've kind of custom built it, replaced every part on it. And I'd say that's probably the closest thing to a custom guitar that I've got.
What was it originally?
Just like a Columbus, I think the brand was.
Yeah,
Just a cheap Strat copy. Yeah.
Just cheap Strat copy.
But
fair play.
I gradually just replaced all the pickups or the scratch plate on it, the neck on it, or the tuning for like literally everything on it apart from the body is changed on it. But I think that's my guitar. Right?
Do you modify guitars quite often then?
Yeah, what I tend to do is buy cheap-ish ones, not the really cheap ones, but cheap-ish ones that play alright, and then just upgrade the pickups in them usually, because that's what a lot of the expensive guitars, that's kind of what you're paying for.
Well, pretty much.
So save a lot of money.
I say to people all the time, I've got 2 Squires and I think they're amazing. And to be honest, I've played Fenders and I don't see the price tag being what the guitar's worth when the Squires that I've got produce the same kind of sound. And like you said, I've changed the heads, the machine heads, I've changed the pickups. On one of my Strats, I've even removed the volume pot because I don't really turn the guitar up or down, put a kill switch in its place, and instead of the 5-way selector that you usually get, I've got 4 double pole, double throw switches.
Okay.
And so I can independently put the pickups on whichever way I like and coil tap the hot rails in the bridge position.
It's better that way because you can customise it to how you want it then. It's not...
Well, exactly.
It's personal. And I'd rather personalise something a bit cheaper than try and personalise something that's like a Gibson or something that's a lot of money. I probably wouldn't trust myself to even dare to change anything on it because it's so expensive. So if it's a cheaper guitar, if something does go wrong on it, then at least I haven't wrecked something that's thousands of pounds. So.
Well, that is very true. I think if I was spending thousands of pounds on a guitar, I'd want it to be correct.
Yeah.
So what's your preferred style of guitar then? Like Strat?
I would say, the actual guitar itself. For a long time, my main guitar was an Epiphone Explorer because basically James Hetfield, pretty much. Yeah. And Metallica, I was obsessed with Metallica throughout a few years of my teens, and I just basically wanted to be James Hetfield, and that was why I was in bands, because James Hetfield was the coolest person alive. So it was an Explorer, but I sold that. Just generally, I play all kinds of guitars. I don't really limit myself. I've got Telecasters, I've got Strats, I've got Super Strats. I had a Flying V. I've had a few Flying Vs.
Yeah. How many guitars have you got?
I've got 8 at the minute.
Oh, right.
So, but I did have more. So I'm a bit of a guitar whore, really. I play all kinds of guitars.
I decided almost 20, must be 18 years ago. I said to myself, I am never selling another guitar ever again because I'd buy them, I wouldn't like them, I'd sell them, and then I'd wish I hadn't sold them a couple of years later. And all in all, if I think I hadn't have sold any, I'd have probably had about 30 guitars now. So it's like, how the hell did I... But I kept having this... I'd call it like a love affair. I love Les Paul, the look of Les Paul guitars, but I hate playing them. Really do. So I've bought so many of them, played them for a little while and gone, no, still don't like it, and sold it on.
I've got the Zakk Wylde Les Paul. I think that the Zakk Wylde signature, the Bullseye one.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing guitar.
Yeah?
Yeah. In general, though, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not really a Les Paul player. I wouldn't, but that particular guitar, it just sounds so good. So, and I'm a massive Zach Wild fan as well. So.
A lot of people have said to me looking at getting a Les Paul Studio edition.
Yeah,
because
it's lighter and
supposedly
smaller.
it's lighter and smaller, and
Yeah,
I might get on with that, but I still don't think I'll buy another one. I've kind of become obsessed with these, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's like the metal guitar. The Flying V, it's just the iconic heavy metal guitar, I would say.
But I've always been deeply into Stratocasters. Love them.
Yeah.
So, right. Who would you say is your most influential band or artist?
Probably, if I had to pick one, I'd say Joe Satriani.
Yeah?
Yeah. And when I first heard him, my dad was just playing him in the house.
Yeah.
And I don't know how old I was, it must have been maybe like 10 or something. But I heard the guitar solo and I thought, this guitar solo sounds good. And it's going on for ages. I'd never heard instrumental guitar music before. So I didn't realise you could make music that was just pure guitar solo the whole way through and like no vocals. I thought, this is like the coolest thing. Like, so I'd say that changed my life really. I heard that because I didn't even know you could do that.
It was him that kicked that off, to be honest.
Well, he didn't invent it, but he definitely popularised it.
Yeah, because I remember listening to... I can't think who his producer was for the first album that he did. But he came up with the concept and the producer was like, hang on, what? You're just going to play guitar? And he, just play guitar on this album. You can't do that. You have to have a singer, you have to have a band. And now it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's standard now. A lot of people, obviously everyone's doing it. But
what would you say if someone said, which song should I listen to of Joe Satriani? What's the one song you'd send them to first?
Depends if they're into kind of rock music to begin with, but I'd probably say the Summer Song's quite an accessible first song, because that was the first song I heard.
Yeah.
So all that wah guitar with stuff in there. It's quite an upbeat, kind of happy-ish song. So I think it probably covers a lot of bases.
I'm going to have to listen to that myself now.
Well, I'd recommend it, yeah, definitely.
I'm terrible for putting on I like full albums, and there's a reason I like full albums, because I'll stick them in the CD player, I'll put them on the computer, and I'll press play and I'll let them go, and I'll do other stuff. And just...
The Extremist then for you, the album The Extremist, put that one.
Yeah, well, I don't... It's very rarely I'll actually go, I need to know the name of that song. So of course I just don't learn names, and I'm like, I couldn't really tell people a 9 Inch Nails song that I would send them to as the first song.
Yeah.
I'd just say, you have to listen the whole way through. So, other than your album, are you excited about anything in the upcoming 6 months?
The next album, just keep going with it. Yeah, I mean, as I say, this album's more just clearing out kind of a backlog, and then I want to move on to kind of the newer stuff.
Yeah.
Moving on to that. So.
Cool.
Unless you mean like non-music related, in which case I don't know. Because,
no, it's just
about music, working
isn't it?
Well, yeah, because you can't just. Obviously, a lot of people do it, but I don't know how they can. Like, you just go to work and then you come home and then that's it. I mean, I don't know what people do outside of the job. Like, but for me, it's music.
Yeah.
So when I finish work, like, music is what I do. So that's what. Even though, like, I am a driver, like, HGV driver, I don't feel like that's what I am. I feel like I'm a guitarist and I'm just doing that driving on the side. Whereas some people like feel like they are what their job is.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't get that. I feel like just music is what I do, and that's what I like, and that's what I enjoy, and that's what I do. So,
and that's why I refer to my day job as the day job.
Yeah.
And if anyone asks me what I do for a living, I'm like, I work with music.
Yeah.
So I've got a podcast going, and then I'm like, but I do have a day job that is making.
Yeah. So, like, what are you most proud of?
Yeah.
Then you'd probably say like the podcast is your creation. Like that's what you probably feel like you do. almost a presenter in that sense.
Pretty much. I try to be. And I try to keep on top
But
of it.
it's not how you spend most of your time, though.
No.
You spend most of it doing a job you probably, well, I wouldn't say don't like, but...
Well, it's just to pay the bills until I get my... Well, especially until I get this EP done that I want to get done. So.
How long's that been in the works?
Oh, how old am I now? What am I, 34? So about 34 years.
Yeah, so I think we're actually in probably a similar position.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm at the point now where I've actually, because of the kind of collapse of the bands I was in, it's made me realise this now is the time to do what I've always thought about doing.
Yeah.
And I think you sound like you're probably in the same situation. You need to do it.
I think there is no better time than right now to make music and get it out there. People are more and more consuming music, even if it's in a game or it's in a shop or something like that. People are still consuming it. And, you know, as much as people hate Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, people are using it.
I use Spotify.
Yeah.
I mean, coming at it from both sides, obviously as a musician, Spotify doesn't pay a lot of money. Like, it's not good in that sense. Sorry.
But then if people really like the music, I think they should go see the bands and go see the artists. And buy their
definitely.
music.
I mean, one of the ways I justify it, maybe it's just me self-rationalising, but I know I use Spotify and I know it doesn't pay the artists that much money, but when the bands that I like do come round, I'll make an effort to make sure I go see them live.
Yeah.
So I'll put the money into them in that way, and if I like the merch, I'll buy like a t-shirt or something. So I will put money into the bands in other ways.
See,
But it's funny you should mention, before I forget, about game music, because quite a lot of the songs on this album, they were written at a time when I was a lot younger and I used to play a lot of games.
Yeah.
So quite a few of the songs listening back to them are quite game influenced music. Because did you ever play F-Zero X on the Nintendo 64?
No.
It's probably got the best soundtrack of any game that I've ever heard.
I think about the only one on the 64 was Mario 64 and Golden. Was it GoldenEye? 64?
Yeah, GoldenEye. But some games had some really good soundtracks and some good guitar soundtracks back in the day. So I think that had probably had an effect on me.
Yeah.
And it probably had an effect on more people than they realise for what type of music they like. So if you get dead into a game, that soundtrack to that game also gets into who you are, I think, and the music that you like. So.
God, that bloody 64 controllers still confuse the hell out of me.
Yeah.
With the old joystick in the middle, and you
have to get used to it.
Yeah, that was. But.
Well, you're more a PlayStation guy.
Pardon?
You're more a PlayStation guy.
No, I play a lot of Xbox and Fallout. I'm a big fan of Fallout, but I'm trying to put it down more. I'm trying to do more music. And to be honest, I used it as an excuse to not create music. And I know I should be creating music, but so like this year, I've already been asked, what were your New Year's resolutions? And I said, I really haven't got any. And then sat there and went, yes, I have. I said to myself, I'm going to get out and go to more gigs.
Okay. What gigs are you going to?
Local gigs and whatever comes up, I've got to try and get out more. I keep seeing bands coming to Nottingham or local bands playing, and I don't just get out of the house sometimes.
Yeah. A lot of the gigs I go to, they tend not to be in Nottingham, really. I go to where they are.
Yeah.
I'm going to see in Stafford.
Oh, right.
And then I'm going to see Rage and Speed on in Sheffield. But a lot of bands don't tend to combine Nottingham, I think. A lot of them miss it out. They'll go to Sheffield, they'll go to Birmingham, and they'll miss out Nottingham.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to send some emails and I'm going to ask, to be honest. Like you saying about Raging Speedhorn, I don't think I've ever seen them play in Nottingham.
They're an amazing band.
They're absolute.
But they don't play that often, so when they do play nearby, I make an effort to go see them. I'm not going to be like, they're playing in Sheffield. I'm going to go to Sheffield to see them.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you the last question now. But in your opinion, if you believe it, what makes the Notts alternative scene great?
I would say that it's bigger than one place. Like, because I have driven around the country, I've played all over the country, and certain cities you might only have one venue or one place where you can even hear alternative music. Where in Nottingham there's at least 3 or 4, 5 maybe. Like, there's a lot of places you can go. There's a big enough scene that it's not just one place. Like, it's a big scene. Right? I don't know.
No, that's cool. So
some places don't even. Some cities don't even have any alternative venues. So
no,
I think you forget how kind of lucky you are when you live here that you have these places to go to. Because some places they don't even have anywhere to go to.
I think the word's spoiled, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people say about venues closing up, but we've got quite a lot of them. I don't think any of them should be closing. I think it's a shame that they are, but we have got a lot of them to close.
Yeah.
Which some places don't have any. So I don't know if you got.
No, I think that's awesome. I'm just trying to mull it over in my head, and I think, wow, when you say it like that, there is a lot of places that don't have what we have in Nottingham, and it's kind of, I'm trying to think, is it egg or chicken situation? What came first? Is it the fact we had a lot of bars and the scene grew, or was there a lot of the scenes and then the bars opened?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that surprises me about Nottingham is there's not been any massive bands come out of Nottingham like, say, Birmingham's got Black Sabbath and Judas Priest, and Sheffield's got Def Leppard, but I mean the closest thing we've got is maybe like Jake Bugg, who technically
Lawnmower Death?
Yeah, I mean,
Evil Scarecrow?
But how big really are they? I mean, for Nottingham, in Nottingham they're big names, but kind of nationally, maybe they are. If they're the biggest thing we've got, I don't think that's big enough. I think we should have someone, or a band, or collection, whoever, which I think we should have someone bigger than that by now, which surprises me.
That is a great anomaly, isn't it? I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. How is it that we've got such a big scene, and you're right, we haven't really got, I think you'd call it a super band.
No.
We're
not even in the pop sense, not let alone the rock sense. There's not even any big pop stars that are from Nottingham.
No.
I say the biggest breakthrough we've had that I can think of is probably Jake Bugg.
Yeah.
And he's not massive in the scheme of things.
No. Don't think I've ever listened to any of his music.
Scarecrow are the best things.
Yeah.
I mean it is good, but I don't think it's good enough. They need to be bigger.
Well, let's hope one of our albums does it, or...
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I'm always hoping. But the thing with guitar music, like with, say, Joe Satriani, he plays, when he comes by, which he does occasionally, he plays the concert hall. So that's like, if you're at the biggest top of the game, making the kind of music that I'm making, concert hall level is probably like the biggest you can get to. So it's quite, I think you're very limited in that sense.
Yeah, it's not the sort of music that you get up in a mosh pit, is it?
No, well, you'd never be playing the arena, I don't think, so.
Well, fair enough. Right, thank you very much for today. It's been really good chatting with you, because it's, again, I didn't know what to expect.
Well, hopefully something different.
It's
a chance to introduce myself doing something new, so.
Cool. And we have said that I will play the track you sent me.
Yeah, it'll be an exclusive.
Yeah.
Let's call it an exclusive.
Cool. So I will be looking forward to listening to that.
Yeah, that track's called Race to the X.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Taste of Space, which will be out, I'm going to say, I haven't got an official release date, but I think it's probably going to be in March.
Yeah.
Realistically, that I'll put it out.
Cool. I've been looking forward to it. And to be honest, like I keep trying to tell people, that have you heard the song yet? And I'm like, I don't listen to it until I made the podcast. So that'll be honest to God opinion when I give my opinions.
Okay. So, well, thanks for having me on.
No problems.
Thank you very much, Nots Rockers, for listening to NottsRockCast over YouTube. If you would like to check us out on your favourite podcast player, please search NottsRockCast. And don't forget, If you're on social media platforms, give us a like, give us a share. You'll find us at NottsRockCast. Anyway, till next time, keep it Nots, keep it rocks.
NottsRockCast is an association with Regular Riot. Welcome to NottsRockCast, the Notts Alternative Scene podcast. And here is your host, Jethro D, bringing you everything Notts and Rock.